Hi, so I'm just going through some of your messages, and a few of you have said that you would like some more guidance in terms of how to come up with a research question and hypothesis or a research topic. So, first and foremost, I want you to pick something that you are interested in. So, my course of study is type 2 diabetes. So, in anything that I write, I would also differentiate between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes because they have different risk factors, some similar, but some different. And they are two different diseases. So my interest would be type 2 diabetes, and then I would start thinking about, well, what about type 2 diabetes do I want to dive further into? And I start to think about what's happening now with sugary beverages and sweet snacks in middle schools, and how kids in middle schools, especially Latino and African American kids, are at increased risk for obesity, and we know that obesity is a risk factor for type 2 diabetes. So what would I put together as my research question given these things that I'm interested in? So I have a who. My who is African American and Latino middle school kids. My what is type 2 diabetes. I want to know if there is a relationship between overconsumption of sugary beverages. I'll choose that one. Overconsumption of sugary beverages during middle school that will increase your risk for type 2 diabetes. All right, so that is my research topic. So what is my hypothesis? My hypothesis is my estimated guess based off of my previous knowledge about what the answer to that question might be. So I hypothesize that Black and Latino kids in middle school who overconsume sugary beverages are at increased risk of type 2 diabetes. It's just restating your research topic, your research question in a definitive way. So my hypothesis has a one-way direction. When you get to biostats, or if you're in biostats, you know that one-directional questions, you do just a one-sided t-test, not relevant, but if you find an article that reports t-test findings, that's what that all means. But keeping it very simple and basic here. So your research question is basically formulating a relationship between a risk factor and a disease. We'll call them risk factors for this class. So a social determinant here would be the increased risk for Black and Latino kids, right? So I'm looking at race and ethnicity as a social determinant. What about being Black and Latino would increase your risk? Well, maybe it's not about race. Maybe it's about low-income neighborhoods. So maybe I need to modify my research question, actually, if I want to include a social determinant that's more explicit. So maybe kids, Black and Latino kids who live in low-income communities are at increased risk of type 2 diabetes due to overconsumption of sugary beverages. And so then I would look for literature that either supports my hypothesis that that's true or refutes my hypothesis. Well, actually, that's not true. The literature shows that it's not overconsumption of sugary beverages, but rather lack of physical activity. So that's kind of the thinking process for how you would go about that. And you can be as creative with it as you want. I really want you to kind of dive into what your interests are here. I'm hoping that a few of you consider submitting your research paper to the symposium next semester. So really take some time with this and think about it. All right, thanks.